Hello. It is Friday. And with great joy, it is Friday. For this week has been a trying week. We've had lots of fun this week at work. Or, fun is not entirely the word for it, as always. It is prime holiday, time to, I won't call it holiday season, but it is prime time to be off work for potential days off. And well, half the team was on holiday. And the last 2 days, my co-worker who texts me a lot has also been on holiday. So we've basically had... There's supposed to be... I'm trying to count them. Seven of us in the team. All of first line were off. All of the people who handle and normally do first line on a daily basis were off. One of the second liners was off. So the two people who, well, our core first liner, because we don't generally need many, was off. Someone who helps out in first line was off. Second line guy, two second line guys was off. Leaving potentially me, my co-worker, a potential other third line guy, who I'll explain why he's potential in that, and a second line guy. Well, I've never entirely... I mean, we've been doing this now for, well, not nearly... Well, we started 1st of December last year. And I have not entirely understand what this third line guy spends his time doing, because he's never really said anything in meetings, and, well, I haven't seen him do any tickets, so I don't know what he does. I'm not saying he doesn't do anything, I just don't know what he does. It's not apparent, and in times like this week, when hands have been short, he still didn't entirely. Anyway, to give you an idea, until yesterday, he'd done 2 tickets. And both of them were patching last month. And the patching takes 4 or 5 hours. So it's like just over a day's work. So I don't know what he does. I'm sure he's doing something, because our manager, I'm sure, would not let him sit there playing, computer games all day. So, but at the same time, don't know what he does. So, realistically, leaving me and other dude to do all the work for the last 2 days, because co-worker was off. Earlier in the week, my friendly co-worker was in, and well, we had usual poo hitting the fan because some guy's off sick from another department. Basically, that's all right, you guys can work out what's wrong with it. We'd never heard of it. Most of us didn't know any of the servers involved. In fact, none of us knew any of the servers involved, nor did they. But we traced it all down, and we boiled it down, and we did get a fix for it. It did take one afternoon and most of a morning, which is pretty slow for us, to be fair. Hey, Naughty Cat. So it, but I did a 12-hour day on Tuesday or whenever it was, and then a bit longer on the Wednesday because there was some other stuff going on, and it has been a long ass week. And so yesterday it was hot. Don't get me wrong. Today is still too stupidly hot for me. But it's been a long ass week, and frankly, I am very pleased that this week is over, because, well, I'm not on call. And the reason I mentioned the third line guy who I don't really know what he does, because yesterday he did 2 tickets. Well, you'll work it out whenever that happens. And my sound thing is doing its stupid thing, which is I know it's doing the sound, but it only tells me about 3 words in. So, but at least it notifies me that there's something to look at. So I can change it by playing music, because then there's constantly sound and then it works. But I've got to play music in my ear for that to happen. And I often get annoyed by music in my ear, or if I'm doing the wrong thing and there's noise in my ear, it just drives me up the wall. It's like if my brain's really thinking, do not try and be involving me in a conversation. Do not be playing music, because my brain can't handle it. However, if my brain is bored, it needs music because, well, there's not enough going on. So my brain's a bit finicky like that. Anyway, yesterday, this third line dude finally did, his 3rd ticket, patching, great. Took him all frigging day, but okay. Apparently, almost the millisecond I logged off last night, ticket came in. So I logged off at about 4:30. Ticket allegedly was logged 4:29, so the email wouldn't even have made it through in that time. A chaser mail came through at apparently 4:35, as I found out when I logged in this morning. And my boss texted me about 4:45. Am I still around? Could I do something? I didn't answer because I didn't see it. Hey you, how you doing? Now, so I didn't do said ticket because, well, duh. Apparently, bear in mind they logged it at 4:29. They wanted it working from 4:30. Well, then you give people more than seconds of notice, dude. Anyway, I didn't do it. This third line guy did in fact do it. Go him. Just one command. Whatevs, right? This morning, the same team apparently didn't manage to do all they needed due to time constraints last night. Well, you could have worked past 8 o'clock. Anyway, logged a ticket, 9:14. Please start the thing from 9 o'clock. Minus 40 minutes. I haven't got a DeLorean. Sorry. But it, and then immediately emailed my boss, we need someone on this now. Well, if you knew when you logged off last night that you hadn't done it and you'd need it in the morning, why didn't you log it then? Because I start at 7. I could have had it ready for 9 o'clock. Wait, they're not in till 9, but I could have started it. But no, you waited till nearly 15 minutes after you wanted it and then kicked up a fuss. And so I'm very glad this week is over. People's are back from holiday next week. The second line guy that I've spent a lot of time working with this week definitely was not on his A game this week. To the point I think his brain shell shut down on Thursday. He reminded me so much of my dad when I was in hospital. So for those who didn't know, in 1999 stroke early 2000, I was in hospital with leukemia, dying. I was given a 20% chance to live. And my dad was very, very stressed. I'm his only child. My mother was being my mother. And so my dad was exceptionally stressed. My dad would tell you a story, such as, bear in mind his life, he was retired at this point, and his life was not exactly, thrills a minute. So he'd tell you that, about the leaves he'd picked up in the garden, whatevs, right? And almost the moment he'd finished that, he would look up and start again because he had no idea he'd told me. Or when he phoned me earlier in the day. Or this guy, now, we needed to make some space on a particular... Now, Unix doesn't have drive letters, but converting it to Windows, because most people are. So, needed to make some space on D, can't delete anything. So you move it out of D, put it somewhere else, do the thing, either put it back, or in Unix you can make a link and it will never know that you still access it via D whatever folder, and everything thinks it's still there, but it's actually somewhere else, right? He couldn't remember 3 letters for 10 seconds. For about 4 hours. And it was incredibly painful to watch. And I felt really bad for him. To the point, about lunchtime, because we started at 11, so about 12:30, I sent him to go for a walk, get a bit of fresh air, not, knowing that it was hot, have your lunch, get some coffee, Red Bull, whatever it takes, go away, stop looking at this, because your brain is not working, you're not, move it out so it makes some space. I mean, it's like if you're going to paint the room, you move shit out of it. It's simple. It doesn't really need understanding, or it's not complicated. But he was so not getting it. And when you struggle with something so basic, I can't explain that. It's like breathing. I can't explain to you how to breathe. You should be able to do that bit. So I was trying really hard to be understanding, and failing, frankly. I'm not going to pretend that was not part of the problem. Just because, there's you and me, dude, and if you're struggling to remember things for 10 seconds, that leaves me doing all the work. Great. Anyway, but the weekend is here. My phone is on silent. Well, my work phone is on silent. the one that brings in trouble and stuff. So, Naughty Kel, you wondered what the prickening was. Stabbing holes! We are stabbing holes. We are pricking the pan. Now, for those who were around earlier in the week when I made the lace thing and was getting pissy, as I do, sorry, with lace 8, because it is a crock, and everyone's seen that it's a crock. We made a video on it to have a crock. I know, it's the prickening, right? Do you remember how in lace 8 it drew badly on the screen and basically nothing worked the way you expected? Do you want to hear that there's a good reason for that? Well, I heard from a lady in a Facebook group. She was having problems exporting her pattern. She wanted to turn it into a JPEG. And I said, well, I can have, I'm not the author of the program, but I can have a go and see if I can fix it. Because I thought, a bit like the one that I've got that's had that random crap at the bottom that you can't get to, maybe it's something similar. She's got like one dot somewhere, and she started in the middle, didn't realise it. Excel style, there's like, one formatted cell bottom right or something, and it's now printing off 58,000 sheets of blank paper sort of thing, right? And it worked fine on mine. So in trying to work out what the difference could be, because she also has Windows 11, it turned out she had a different version. A newer version. Now, I've pressed check for updates countless times, and in fact, knowing now that there was a newer version, I clicked check for updates. No, you have the latest version, it says. But I know different. Anyway, I wrote to the dude who writes this stuff. Now, bear in mind, I have written to him countless times with the bugs that I've come across, and always got back, basically, your explanation meant nothing to us, even though here's a video of it happening, kind of deal. Or here's a screenshot, or here's a, At not one point did they say to me, there's a newer version. And not one point did they say to me, oh, we fixed that in version this. So I wrote to him and I said, I was doing this, and here's my order number to prove that I, genuinely do have an account, and is there a newer version? Well, yes, he said. Here is the link. And it's kind of like, so why in the fuck didn't you? Apparently, people had problems with the auto update, so he stopped bothering. So I've been writing to you with all of these bugs, and at one point did you think, well, I fixed that. Anyway, I'm going to show you this. Hang on, let me pull up Magic Bracket. Right. So, here we are at Lacey. It looks identical. Do not be too surprised. Well, I'm not going to say it works, but I'm going to say it's a lot better. And, quite frankly, we needed that. So, let's pick strip number 6. No, I don't know. I clicked the wrong thing. Hang on. Open. Click 6. Right. Let's pick this, right? Now, one of the things that didn't work was that if I clicked this little bit up here, this allows you to set margins, and it used to do funky blue lines that were randomly all over the place and including outside the window. But you'll notice now I've got little red dots exactly when lining up with my mouse pointer. Well, that's a good start. Now, scroll doesn't scroll anymore. It zooms in and zooms out, which is actually quite irritating. But it also then means the only way to move it updates the ruler. But it also means I can zoom in and zoom out without having to use the thing at the bottom. I can now use the scroll wheel. She says having an idea. No, I was just wondering if some form of mouse button would make a difference. Actually, no, that's doing kind of both. Okay. So, other issues we had. Now, sometimes this... Hang on. Is it 5 we put them on? Yeah. So, the other issue we had... For fuck's sake. For goodness sake. Right. The other issue we had was if we pasted this, quite often as we move around, it would leave ghosts. Now, it still does, but not as many and not as much. I mean, as I say, it still does, which is why I'm not claiming it to be the all-hallowed, but it's certainly better. So I have hopes that some of our problems, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's still some stupid stuff. So, for example, if I do diamonds and I zoom in a bit, hang on, let's zoom in a bit so that we can see what we're doing here. If I pick a 4x4 square, you see, that diamond's really awkward, but if I pick a 4, because if you notice, right, let me cancel it, right, if I pick a field shakes, it would be more obvious. If I start on a dot here, as I move, it's the leftmost point, which isn't bad, but it's not ideal. But it still missed some dots, which is highly irritating. So that's pretty shit. It didn't eat any of my things, so here's a thing. So it didn't eat any of my little pretty deedies. Can't undo that, which is still annoyingly stupid. Yeah, for some reason I now can't undo that. By the way, one thing you might hear during stream, and I need to do a quick swap, hang on, is if you hear a zap, do not be alarmed. For I have fly swatter, and it's in a stand so that it's kind of active. I think there's only one fly. Now, as it turned out, you know that obviously I've been talking about my ninja flies that I can't find. So the fly swat itself is unlikely to be useful as a fly swat. However, as a fly attractor and zap the crap out of it, it did do quite well last night because I set them up because I've got two, and I've kind of put one either side of me to try and draw them, the ones that are drawn in my direction to be drawn then towards this, and well, lots of things got zapped. In fact, one had a spectacular death. One spent about 10 seconds being zapped. And then the room smelled. I'm almost surprised like smoke detectors didn't go off. This thing had really cooked. And it wasn't even that big a fly. It's not like it was really, it was kind of a, bumblebee-sized thing that, cooked for 20 minutes. It was just a fly. And it wasn't, as I say, it wasn't even a big fly. It was just a fly. But there is still one dicking about. At least one. Maybe two. But most of them, I believe, have died. But if you hear that'll be kind of what it is, right? Is the celebratory death of one of these flies. Because one of them's been picking on me. And it seems to have a real thing for my left arm. And I don't entirely know why. But there we go. So let's get down to doing some stuff. Close my lace window thing. No, I don't want to do that. Right. Let me put some music on so that I can hear you better, because it phases in rather than gets on with it. What should we go for today? What should we have? That sounds vaguely plausible. Hey, Sigma! We're just about to start up some music, so bear with me a second. We want to turn on Amazon Music, turn off that one, and then hit go. Right. Back to the prickening. We did a bit of prickening earlier this week. It is a very boring job though, so I will rely on you to keep me entertained to a large extent, I'm afraid. And I also realise this has the watchability of watching paint dry. But hey, this is part of our process, so... Cool! Nauticat's kettle handles are sweet. And anyone who wants to disagree can come pick a fight with me, and I'll win. I also get cramped doing this. Even though I've got a fairly chunky handle, I still get cramp. Because I'm, well, distinctly out of practice of holding on to pens and stuff like I did as a kid. Before I typed for a living. So, as a result, it is not a comfortable position so much anymore, and my hand kind of has that "no, not doing this again" kind of moment, you know. And bear in mind, this is only the first of 8 sheets to do. So let's not be pretending that this is not a last job. However, what we can do is, once we've got to the bottom of this, we can wind the bobbins and we can start on this one and kind of do the others as we go. to be careful because you guys don't get to see too far down the table. I mean, I know that you're kind of not really following, but you know what I mean. Good. Interesting days can be good. It's when we use the word interesting to replace the word shit is when there are problems, of course. Fair enough. But if you want to do a vague summary so that, you know, chat can maybe ask pertinent questions or join in your conversation, should you be willing, of course, then that's always cool. By the way, Vegemite is disgusting. For those who have not had Vegemite, if you don't like Marmite, Vegemite is like sump oil. I've got like heat bumps on my face. Definitely think if they made an attachment for the cricket with a pin on it, stab holes and things, that'd be ultimately awesome. Because you could so print these. and then auto stab them. I mean, you couldn't laminate them and then stab them. Which would be annoying. Well, my hand's feeling slightly better at it today than it did on Wednesday or whenever the hell I did this. So, there is a chance we will get to the bottom of this shit. And some of it is obviously how hard you grip things, and you might remember from your schoolhood days of when you were doing writing. You know, you don't have to grip the pen like your life depends on it, but you kind of always did. And it takes quite a while to actually learn to relax. And I think that's part of the problem, is that I'm gripping it too hard, but I'm also not gripping it that hard. But I've got to consciously not grip it harder, if you know what I mean. And I don't need to stab it, 6 meters through. I just need to make a hole. So again, there is the... I'll do these two while I remember. Right. And it doesn't help that I've got extra spots in behind the motifs that I didn't remove before printing it, because I completely forgot they were there. Otherwise I'd have spent more time removing them. So I've got to ignore them. So I'm not stabbing every spot, which is why I sometimes have to think about which spot it was that I was stabbing, because, well, there are other spots. See, we've made really good progress already on this, so there is a chance. remember to stop and wiggle my hand and take a sip of a drink because it is that hot. Which will no doubt also mean I need to go and get more drink at some point and have a piddle, because what goes in must come out. One thing I didn't think about, I put the inch lines in, but I didn't actually mark down the number. No, missed a line. There we go. See, hang on, squint. 40 minutes. Despite a preamble, we've done 40 minutes and we've done nearly as much as we did in the entire stream on Tuesday. Or Wednesday, or whatever the hell it was. So, yeah. It really does depend on how you're doing as to how fast this goes, doesn't it? What's up, pups? Where's the little one? Oh, there she is. Were you trying to pretend that you're asleep? You were out being solar powered a minute ago. So I'm just checking on you. Well, you feel a bit cooler. It's better, isn't it? I was a bit worried for Amy earlier this week because, just like she's done now, she's come up on the couch, sat behind me, because obviously I'm leaning forward. And, well, over the weekend, not entirely sure when, might have been Friday, Saturday or Sunday, I don't really remember. And then earlier this week, she was up behind me doing things, sleeping usually. Well, as far as I was aware, sleeping. Twice there has been a large wet pat, but it didn't smell of processed water, it just smelled like warm water. So I'm a little bit worried that she's not happy. There's something wrong with her. But also, it could just be as simple as she's kind of drunk too much water and, you know, half awake, and it's gone through her so quick that it's just kind of come out straight the other end. I know what's not slowing me down as much as it did earlier this week. Every time I stab a hole, I'm not going double vision. It's amazing how much difference that makes. My brain isn't freaking out every time I do a dot. Got to be careful in case it thinks, so actually that's a really good plan. But we're near the bottom, so... Yeah, I didn't want to do that one. Not that it hugely matters, but... Where are we? There we are. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of restarting the project that I started nearly a year ago, but in a better way than I was doing it for the last bunch of months. In that I'm going to be making my lace net curtain out of strips. For we had the test stripeth of doom. So instead of making squares, which we're always going to look like squares, we made these. Now, forgive me, I haven't got my glasses on, so I know it's upside down, but that's about all I can tell you. Actually, I'll turn it around. Hang on. Because my brain thinks of things a certain way. You know how brains can be. Right? So this is the subject matter. And these were all the motif options. Hang on, let me have a bit of a tidy up. Because, well, it's running out of room. These were the motif options that we had. Looking a bit scrunched here. Fly. Come here. Come here. I have a thing for you. Come on. Come here. Come on, little fly. Come here, fly. Come here. Lizzie has a thing for you. I have a toy. Come and play with my lovely toy. You'll enjoy it. It'll be fun for everybody. Oh, shit. Alright. So, we had a bit of a vote on all of these, bar two of them, which were this one, and actually I think that was it. Right, so we had a vote on which of these we would use, and the consensus opinion was these. Now, you'll notice that the joins of the strip, this is more obvious, this kind of shows, and then these don't so much. This was the iterations of how to do a join. Now, I did try and explain it on stream once, and it just wasn't working because I couldn't explain it to other people very well. So, and I can't really do it on stream because I need it 3 inches from my face because I'm really short-sighted. And at the moment, I can't see a single thing. I can see that there is a white blob, and I can vaguely see that there are shapes. Because I know what they should look like, I can kind of see which one's which. Sort of. To me, they're all just a big whitish blur, okay? But this is as wide as my window. I just now need to make, 6 1 metre long strips. And as it turns out, making strips is quicker. Sewing them together is laborious, but not, it's not exactly taxing. So from that point of view, we are very much looking forward to the end process of getting somewhere with it. By the way, I don't know why I'm folding them up so carefully in there. That's completely stupid. But what I'm doing now is we have printed out a bunch of strips. So obviously this one continues on to that. Let me move my glasses, because again, I know what these look like, right? So basically, these go on, and that's the bottom of the first one. There is a second strip, which is these two alternating. This one starts as a big one and a little one, and this one is a little and a big one. So this is basically 2 strips of 1 metre, and I've got to stab a billion little holes in it. But the point I am at right now is just checking that says number 3 on it. That says number 2 on it. I did have the good sense to label them, people. I may be stupid, but I had the good sense to label them. Because although 2 and 3 are all but identical, I mean, if you actually look at them quickly, they are covering the same spot. If you notice, this one's about one line high, this one's one line lower or something, because of course it lines up with the bottom of this square by about one line. So, you know, really, it's like, really. Anyway, this needs to go under here, and I need it to line up and be level. Now, what I will need to do is arguably tape them together, but that's not the point. Because what I really want, and now the other option is to trim off to here, so the dots, and trim to here, so that there's literally the tiniest of overlaps, because this is where the overlap is, right? So if I do this, you'll see that there's like, well, 1, 2, 3, this is the line 4, 5 and 6 is basically, there's a 6 line overlap, which is not going to make it, is the actual, in terms of pattern, isn't a big overlap, but it doesn't need to be. It just needs to line up. Now, the easiest way of doing it, potentially, is to prick to the bottom of this, prick the top of this, and put pins in, and or at least prick enough of it to put pins in to hold it still while you do all the others. So, but we will get there very shortly. Is the because we are not far away. No, it's a net curtain for my window. So basically it's, I've got it written down somewhere, but it's something like 44 centimetres wide and 97 centimetres long. But basically kind of scarf size, yes. But it is basically, because I'm only doing it for what arguably is the actual window pane, not covering the entire wooden frame, because I don't want it to. Because that way I attach it to the window, and when the window opens, it goes with it, and doesn't flap in the breeze, because you tie it both ends. For as my autism does not like flappy things. Flappy things offends the Liz. This includes clothes, jewellery, and curtains. What's up with you? Wretched animal. Amy, what's up with you? What? What was all that about? Apparently, Mrs. Lives Out Back has yappy freaking dogs that bark all day. Her annoying dog that runs off and is known as Bailey, because we hear her screaming for it way too much, can get out. And has been annoying people. Now, admittedly, I haven't heard all of this, but my neighbour who lives, well, effectively behind me where I'm sitting, but nearer her house than me, has had, well, first-hand view of this, and is somewhat unimpressed, as you would be. Why does this not line up? Did I not? I mean, at the end of it, as long as it's all got holes, you don't have to do them in rows. But it does kind of help, you know, to make sure that you haven't missed any. But you see, I naturally go from there to there, and it's not, it's there. But you see, you should be here. No, that's the end one, so it is there. Right, this is the coming back row, so that's the edge, the middle, edge. Struggling to keep my lines. Let's change the angle then, because I didn't have that problem earlier. Right, now, need some pins. And what I need to do is find that hole there, like that. And that one, and I should have done this one first actually. That's what we're going to do, this one first because it's shittier to get at. And we'll put you in as well to to make sure it's straight. Like this. Right, and then we stabbeth the rest of them together like this and check that that goes where I thought it did. It did! Excellent! So I'll put a pin in you just to stabilise everybody. You also still went through the right spot without being off, so we have made contact. It's like an alien invasion. So we'll go through. Yep, they are spot on. Go me. Now, I do think... Where's my... I will trim off very close to the pinholes, like part the way through them, so that when I overlap them, when I do that, there isn't spare. That looks like Spambot to me. Yes, it is. Some arse has come to die. Hello, Mr. Spambot. Your time is counting in seconds. Good luck to you, because usually Twitch are really on the ball. So, what will happen now is, let's say I'm lacing my way down here, and I've got this pin down. Put some pins in like this. When I put this in, all I have to do is line up those and find, again, probably this dot first, because, well, that's actually, this dot would be harder because that's the trim dot. But now doing this on the cushion could be considered a lot harder, but so that will go in there like that, and then this one goes like this. And as you can see, possibly, it now looks completely continuous. So, we have, she says, checking. Oh, I missed a couple. on that, on that. I mean, it's not uncommon to miss some, so, you know. But it is nice if you can do them all in advance. Because then you accurately stab them later. Because you have holes to drag pins around because you can hear it. So you can hear them for later business. So, now all we have to do is wind 10,000 million bobbins. Which, as we know, well, the question is, because one of the other things that we were going to do was put an extra layer of varnish on. Spambot is dead. Oh, great news, everybody. You know my brown roller pillow that we're going to make this on? I found an even bigger one. So, it's a metre long, but it has a 60 centimetre roller in the middle. So it's about, well, in general terms, it's quite a bit bigger than my brown one. So in terms of making making something in one piece, it's not quite big enough to make my window thing in one piece, but it can make a, 50 something centimetres of, actually, I only needed it for 44 centimetres wide. It could make a net curtain in one piece. Now, the 58 trillion billion squillion bobbins, that's a whole new bag. But the people it comes from also sell a different kind of bobbin holder. Now, I have seen pictures of these bobbin holders, and the best way to explain it is with a pair of fingers. So if you think of your fingers in a kind of V shape, right? Let me grab a bobbin. Hang on. It's not like I am devoid of bobbins. All the ones that we have today are kind of... I have an elasticated top. These don't. They are two solid pieces and you slip bobbins between them. Now, admittedly, it also means you can't then take them off this end, which you can see as a downside. But I quite like the idea, so I've ordered a bunch of them. Because, well, I wanted to kind of justify the postage, to be honest. The postage is excessive. The actual item itself, so the big rollerboard cost me, I think it was £139. Cost nearly as much as that again to post it. So, well, not quite that much, but it was kind of heading that way. I think it might have been £129, and it was £214 something to ship it and the holders. So, and the holders were really quite cheap. So, yeah. Basically, yeah. Rory, what is wrong with you two? Why are you licking me so much? I know that people say dogs lick you for salt, but you're not supposed to give dogs salt. Well, that was stupid. He made a sort of a snorting noise. She jumped up like someone had shot her in the butt, and then he's reacting to the fact that she's acting like someone shot her in the butt. Your own worst enemies, you two. Well. Plus, of course, I've got this little thing, well, not so little, but this thing, which is to roll up my meter of thing on, so it doesn't end up dangling on the floor or the dog chewing on it or something. At least I don't have a cat. So, what to do? Well, the obvious answer is to have a bit of a reorganisation. So you need to sod off a minute, because you have, for those who missed, I have added, well, most of 2 more squares to this thing. It's looking a little bit manky at the moment, but I made a mistake and I'm having a bit of a mare fixing it. In fact, let me finish this while I'm thinking about it, because I know what I need to do. Let me remove pricking board. Oops, and put spiky thing back in tomato. There we go. So, so I made a mistake, or 20, more like 20. So, what I did was, once again, lost count, got distracted, swore at it a lot, because, well, that's a me thing. Let me untangle this a little bit. So what I need to do now is count these. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so I need to do a picot next. Because the problem was, what I did was I tried to join this so that this didn't work. So I need to have the bumps on the outside, whichever way you want the bumps to be. Project, I don't really care, because all we're going to do is finish this square, which is basically a picot, a chain of 8, and then a chain of 10, and we should be done. So we should not be doing this for too long, so bear with this. And it's just being annoying as to which way up it wants to be, and then, you know, like everything else, oh, I'm a thread, I'll catch on everything. So we need to do one of those, and then one. Now that's firm, that's easier. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I know there's a sticky out bit. 6, 7, 8. That should be 8. No, I've managed to leave a big gap in the middle where the twiddly bit is, so I'll undo that bit. Try that again. Let me trim the twiddly bit, because you're just going to get annoying. It's just going to be distracting. It's because the thread's been a bit mangled. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you need to go back into here. Well, actually it's easier if I slide you. And this is why this thread ends up so skank, because it keeps twisting up when you try and slide it. Like that. There we go. And then you come around like this, and I'm going to work this out, because you should be there. and you're coming out of the middle of this one, so you need to go in through here. I've just done it again, you fucking donut. Because I'm so busy thinking about finishing this section, I forget that I've got to join it to the first one. So that picot was supposed to be through the hole in this one. So let me undo that 8 again. This is why this thread looks so skanky, is because I keep having to undo it. And then it does this, and you spend half an hour picking at it, trying to work out what it is or is not doing. Let's take glasses off because I can't do this, because they're all the same colour, so I can't tell what's where. And right, you are you, so let's make a bit more space and find out what's going on here, because, well, I mean, if I could, I'd just rip it off. It seems to be held on by fluff. Thank you for the follow. The latest you are joining me in my insanity, please understand that. There we go. For there's this huge knot of shite here now, of twisted chaos and mayhem, which seems to be purely made of fluff and chaos. It is not an actual knot. I'm going to have to work around that because that doesn't want to come out. It's going to make this harder, that's for sure. Let's finish this, because, you know, just would be nice to see it finished and not sitting there staring at me. And we can start winding some bobbins. And just hope that the colour doesn't come off too much. You were fine until like 1 second ago, and then you decided to turn into a monster knot. This string is, well, it's not string, but this cotton is looking really haggard. We're nearly there. Right. I need it to connect to this. Now, for it to connect to this, it's coming around, although this looks like the most strangled, screwed up, twisted pile of rubbish you ever did see. So I can straighten that up a little bit. Hang on. Everything just twists. Even though you don't turn it, so even though I don't turn the needle, I don't, twist the threads, somehow they all end up twisted. So you're coming up and round, and you need to come now I've got to think how this works, because my brain's really not braining. So it needs to come down through there. So I think this is right. It's probably wrong, and it will end up all twisted. But right now, I'm getting to the point where I don't actually care. Right. Yeah, it kind of looks right. And then we need to do the other half. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You then go into the bottom of here, which is where it gets really fiddly. You go into the bottom of here, so I need to pull you through without you twisting up, if you don't mind. So you can see it just kind of instantly twists over all on itself, and then it wonders why it gets snagged on everything and ends up looking like death, Now, while I've made that into a chain, shut up, because it is coming round. Yeah, it's slightly twisted. Bite me! And comes in here. No, it's not. Because it comes in round here. Yeah, it's twisted. The words bite me definitely apply here. Just because I'm going to have to do it off camera, because I need to sit up straight and poke a hole in it, and I need it 1 inch from my nose. So bear with me 1 second. You're not really missing out on much. Yeah, I didn't twist it enough for whatever reason. So let me just attach this. That's kind of the wrong way round. So I've gone up, not down through a hole. So need to undo that and then come up and down through the hole so that it's on the back like this, so we can tie a knot in it like this. So it is far from perfect because, well, this should be facing the other way, but it's not facing the other way because I went through the hole wrong. And now I need to do the chain that goes across here, and then this will be done. So let's get on with that. And my brain's already forgotten which one I just did. So we need to do one of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I just go from 6 to 10 then? I think I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, that was right. So we slide this. For fuck's sake, just pull through. You're the last one. And then I can chop this skanky bit of crap off. Right. That was probably a little bit too hard, so we need to stretch you out a bit more. And you are joining to here. Like this. Like this. Right. As I said, yeah, it seems to be once you made a mistake, you just seem to make more mistakes, if you know what I mean. So that looks absolutely horrible. This ring is far too big, and I don't know why. Because it should be 3, 5, and 8, which is 3, 5, and 8, but it just looks huge because it is huge, and probably needed tugging on an awful lot more, and I didn't. Can I encourage it through? I need a big stick, and I've put down my pokey thing. There it is. I think, to be honest, just leave it and have done with it. And just let it be ugly. I haven't got the fight. It is... For those who are not in the UK, you will not understand how our temperature hits. It's ridiculous. I can feel like breathe in, sweat out. It is that bad. But there we go. Looks bloody awful. Did I misjoin something? I mean, I've got one more square, and it's, you know, it's bending in. It's you know, it's kind of bent in a round angle. I mean, it's clearly no feat of engineering that. Oh, I'm sweating like a horse. Squirty ball. It's getting a bit lower on water, but there we go. those who don't know, I have a water bottle to squirt myself with. It's amazing how it does help cool you down. It doesn't utter a lot of water per first squirt, so it sounds like I'm hosing myself down. But I'm actually not technically that wet once I've done it. It's just enough, because I've got a fan over there, that now the fan breeze really... The only problem is by the time it's dried off, you're hot again. So... where did strip 1 go? Or did I put strip 1 under strip 2? Please tell me I put strip 1 under strip 2. No. Fuck. Where did that go? Oh, it's over here on the pricking board. Phew! That made me worry for a minute. After all that. Right. Let me do something with this table that's a bit drunk. Right. Put this away, or over there at least. You back in your tomato. You down there a minute. You can sort off because you're not relative. Your things, your trimmings, you go in the bin. You also go in the bin because you're not relative. This is cable. Right. The pile of you can come out there before I start wondering what I did with you. Put you over there. And let me get behind me, because I've got a little bit of organising to do before I cause cascade failure of doom. But sorry, microphone. Right. Of course you're in the way. Pillow! Pillow, pillow. Right. I love you dearly, Mr. Flycatcher, but right now, watching you wobble to fall over is not helping. Let me put this underneath to tap the leathery bit that you see is... I don't need the leathery bit, but it does help amplify the sounds a little bit. Let's move that too. Just being annoying, really, in general. There we go. See, my microphone's in the way. The bass part of it is kind of in the way. It wasn't in the way before. But never mind. Let's kind of move on. Right. Poke you underneath. And you on top. Come on, you're just under there. Come on, sort of. Now I do need to kind of make this pretty straight. So it is important that this looks pretty straight at the end of it. Because, well, for a metre later, it's got to be kind of worked off too far to one side. Now, how does that look in relative term to this? Now, I know that the piece of paper isn't straight in the thing, but I'm looking at the 2 pins and the line of dots and the seam of this. Where's my phone? Somewhere on here I have my toolbox, and in it I have my spirit level. And I can use my phone. See, that shows me, if I put my phone against the line, that, if I do it again, like if I do this, my phone is butted up against the thing, you can see that there is less of a gap here than there's a bigger one. So this end needs to go back a bit, even though it looks out of whack. Same can be done with a tape measure, mind. So for example, if I lay my tape measure along the thing, now it's too far. Try that. That looks pretty even. Right. A couple of pins in. Make it hold it down a bit. I have my thread, this one. And that is not my pile of spares that I thought it was. So this is not the extras. So let me go and hide this, because I keep thinking it is the extras for this, and it's not. This pile is the pile of extras for this. So these are the extras. Let me check the colour before I commit to the currently outstanding thing. So this says 0001 on it, and this says 0001, so they look the same. That's fine. It's not batch numbers, because these don't have batch numbers, but there's, like a lot of things like there is in knitting and crochets, you have white, off-white, antique white, white with a hint of farts, you know, and the last thing you want is to measure a load of them with one colour and not all of them when you're expecting uniform colour. If you want other colours, that's fine, but when you wanted them all the same colour, it helps to check that the spares you've got are actually the same colour, because, well, maybe they're not. So let me put this on here, like this. Take this off. Such a shame that this linen is so stiff, and it feels like corrugated cardboard, but it's a cotton, obviously, but it's got that kind of rough edge that corrugated cardboard has when you've cut it. It's got that, not sharp edge, but that kind of, well, it's not round, it's kind of got a flat side, and it's also got, if you look really carefully, you can see there's a slightly thicker bit in the middle. It's not 100% smooth, which is fine, you know, rustic, and as a spinner, you know, definitely the way life goes. That's right, I thought there was some bloody animal thing leaping across my floor. It was a cable holder. Scared the crap out of me. I thought it was some beetle, and it turns out to be a cable holder. Right. So, I worked out that I want to put 4 meters of thread on a bobbin. And that should be about right for a strip. Sounds a lot, I know. I'm aware of that. Where's the other bag of bobbins? There it is. Because we've got a bag of bobbins with nothing on. which I will fill up first because, well, it's easier, it's already got nothing on it. I need to measure. Where did that tape measure go? It was in my hand. For anyone who wants to diagnose me as ADHD, feel free, because that kind of seems to be where it's at. I definitely suffer from many similarities in that respect. Oh, I don't know, but here's another tape measure, the one that I prepared earlier. It's a new one. I literally had one minutes ago. Oh, there it is. There's the original one. Let's use the original one. Right, I need to know how long a metre is. Is it roughly the length of my table? Because I've got a feeling it is. No, my table's only 81 centimetres. Wow, my table's not as long as my window. Holy shit. So, I need 4 metres, which means measuring it carefully, because I can measure out 4 metres and you know what will happen. I'll measure 4 metres and, well, then it will tangle, because that's what threads do. And I've got to kind of, what I really need is to use my weaving thing that does meters as I do it. Yeah. Let's put this back up in case Mr. Fly comes, because don't need his help with this is for sure. Don't be needing Mr. Fly's help, because I will have no patience. So let's put you back up there for Mr. Fly. Right. How to do this? So, we need to get 4 metres off that onto this. Let me push this table back a bit, because you need a better view. Which of course means it's further away from me, but it's not as easy to bring the camera to me as it is to move the table to you. So I need to get 4 metres of that onto this. Let's do this. I'm going to do a small experiment. I'm going to measure. Actually, yeah, we better do it with this thread. It's not like I haven't got enough. Measure 1 metre of this. Right, bear with me. Then we will wind it on using my winder. Or actually, we'll do it by hand, because it's a lot better to do it by hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I can't do that. So that's four wraps before I start. Now the problem is, of course, is my winder. I'm going to have to use the winder, because otherwise I've got no way of counting it. Actually, I have. I must have a way of marking it. Not really. Let me try and explain my problem. So, I have here a metre of thread, right? And I want to count how many wraps it takes. But the problem is because normally you would wind it like this, you can't count them. and you need to wind it like this so you don't add or remove twist. So the winder has a handle that cranks the bobbin to turn it round like this. But I've kind of, I won't say buried it, because I haven't buried it, but I have put obstacles in my way. So let me... She says putting the bobbin in and the thread immediately fell off. Thank you for that thread. 2, 3, 4. One, two, three. I'm still not counting properly. Hang on. 1, 2. Oops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we say 7 turns per metre. Now this is not a scientifically accurate method, but if I want 4 metres, that's 28 turns. At least we'll have the same amount on everything. Be a bit pissy to get to the bottom and not have enough though, would it not? Let's think about this. I mean, the other option is to basically put, you know, a half a frigging thing of cotton on it and hope it makes it throughout all of the curtain. That doesn't sound like much of a good plan. Am I confident that 4 metres is enough? Well, the reason I've gone with 4 metres is that I'm confident enough because we put, I thought, 1.5 metres on to do just under 3/4, maybe half. So I thought 4 metres should be too much. So I'm going to stick with 4 metres. We can always do it again. And we can always add more. I just don't really want to add them all in the same row, if you know what I mean. Because that would be bad. Okay, let's do this. So, you can get to watch this go round because I can't really show you my bobbin winder. It's just too complicated. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a bit. Just for good measure, right? Actually, we will soon know if this is enough. How's that, Liz? Well, we're going to measure off 4 so that we don't have to do a knot and put it on the other one. This is where it will get messy because this will twist like a motherfucker. Just pulled the bobbin on the floor with the tape measure. Because of course everything's shagging itself together. This is the problem with thread. Every time you do anything that touches it, anything that breathes near it, just offends it, something horrid. So that's 3. One more to go. Even though I'm sure I feel like I've done 4 now. Maybe not. I'm going to go that this is the 4th one. So that's 4. And then a chunk. Where's some scissors? Some scissors. Chop. Let's put this on another bobbin and see what happens. And there's another piece of cotton trying to get in on the act. Okay. See how many turns this takes. And when it's like 96, I'll cry. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a twiddle. It actually worked out, people. It did. It did. Only 70 odd pairs, well 30 odd pairs of something to go. Where's my phone gone? Seriously, I heard it ping. Actually, someone's just raised a really good point, calling it the prickening. We are now on the winding. There we go. I'll change the tile. There you go. Right, so we know 28 is a good number and a bit, so we know that this is a solid number. We are happy with this now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a bit. And of course now we've got to measure out 4 meters again. This is when I wish I had a long metal ruler. And not Was that someone dying? Please tell me that was an insect dying. It was a bit disappointing pop, but it still counts. You know, I'll take a death if that was a death. I mean, still a win. 2. 3, 4, and a chunk for good measure and instability. Bobbining. Now, of course, what we are failing to remember, of course, is the joys I had about it kind of unwinding a bit as I worked, because we know how much I enjoyed that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. There we go. Well, we can hang our first pin. Can't do nothing with it, but we can hang our first pin. I mean, to be honest, I was going to knot them, and I was going to put a pin in above and then do a little bit of plaiting kind of above it so that I had some spare thread, and then... But what's the point, you know? Okay, so... I could do what I used to do. Well, that would make a lot of sense, actually. So, when I weave and I've got a changing colourway, what I do is I wind a bobbin, like I'm about to now at the start, obviously to wind it on. Then, to have the next one continue, I wind on a bobbin full to the next one, but now the starting point's in the middle. So I then rewind it onto a new bobbin to turn it around. And that would be an easy way of doing this rather than trying to measure it, to be honest. I still don't have a beginning end with this, which is part of the reason measuring it is the answer. Because of course that works when you've got an end to put in the middle. I don't with this, so... You'll soon see how quickly you go through a reel of cotton as well. Even though there's like half a kilometre worth of stuff on here, so you really would think it'd be, well, there was at the beginning, obviously we've used some, but 2, it does deplete pretty fast. It's like, you know, it's almost like you want to doubt whether they measured it right. 3, 4, and a bit. So yes, this is again probably not the most interesting thing you could watch for your Friday afternoons. However, it is very much part of my process. And I just wound it at the wrong end of the bobbin. Douche. So let's undo that. It doesn't matter technically, but you know, it will make life a bit awkward if it's kind of completely the wrong end of the bobbin, which it is. So let's undo that and try that again. Pay attention to which end is the small end this time, Liz. So I do apologise that this is not exactly entertainment, you know, Saturday night. And this bobbin needs surgery. Basically the end is falling off, as you can see, so let's well, it's 4 o'clock Friday afternoon here, so I hate glue bottles because whenever you've got a pat like this, if you don't fold it over, it just farts back underneath itself, and well, the glue doesn't come out the other end. It's alright, Pop. So let's put you to dry over there a second, because it's not like we haven't got some others. Got plenty of others. Alexa, what's the temperature on the downstairs thermostat?
The downstairs thermostat temperature is 27.5 degrees.
27.5, my arse. Oh, you've just made me move my hand on the thread now. Stupid pair of scissors. How are you so tangled up in the thread? Fuck off. I'm going to do it again. For someone who has no patience, I really do pick dumb hobbies. Because every single one of them seems to involve something that has a life of its own that just pisses me off. and thread is definitely one of them, because it's got no real weight to it. Every opportunity it finds to kind of mess you around, right? And tangle, and being so thin, you know, when you've got chunky knitting wool, you can see the knot, usually. Hang on. Oh, you moved, you little shit. Finally saw the fly. Landed on the microphone. I was about to zap the thing, and in reaching over it, it went, oh shit, and ran away. It's obviously seeing what happens to its friends. Two. Three. I feel like this is actually number 5, but there we go. 4. Pretty sure that joins them. Yeah, it does. That's all I wanted to know, so. Now's the time to check, after all. Not that it hugely matters, but, you know. Right. Should we do 4? 4 is better. We have stitches, people. Not that you can see too well, actually. Let's move up. Bear in mind you have camera control, so don't be moaning here. You can all move the camera yourself. You can zoom in, zoom out, move it about. It's all there. So yes, you can move the camera about, you can have a look, you can mooch about. You've only got so much wiggle room, but you can scope in and out, and not out a lot. You can go in a chunk, you can move left and right and up and down, but you can't really get very far because, well, of where the camera mounted. So, you know, it's not like you can have a mooch around the house, you know. Oh, come on, I've measured the same metre twice now. Third time's a charm. That feels awfully short. Can't help but wonder if I didn't wind enough on one of those other bobbins. Right. My tape measure keeps twisting. It doesn't help me measure stuff well. One. Two. feeling I only did 3. 3. Horrible feeling on that last one. I only did 3 on one of the bobbins. Oops, just threw a pin. Right, there it is. Now, of course, one thing I will need you all for, as we do this, if you see me making a mistake, I expect... See, look, seriously, we've done, what, 3 stitches with this, and it's already coming undone at the bottom. Fuck this shit. And it's not even the end, it's just kind of untwisting. And I've got to work out which way round I need to twist it to tighten it up. Might have to put sin hat on it. See, look, they're all at it. They're all at it. Coming undone. And I don't see how they do it. That one's kind of easy because it was just that bit. So's that. It's the top layer that's come undone. Maybe that's all it is for this other one. Let's see. No, it's not. It's not the top. It's not this thread, look. 'Cause if I unwind this, it's not touching the loose bit. Let's see if I can do... I can always put it back in the bobbin winder. Okay, so that's that bit. It's not all of it, but I can perhaps cheer it up. And postpone some of this. I'll just put my right hand so I can do both at the same time. But then this is how you end up transferring so much of the colour off the bobbin onto the thread, is because you keep having to rewind them by hand in a hot sweaty day when your hands, even though they don't feel wet and horrible, you know, probably are to an extent. Yeah, it doesn't show, but it could be. So you won't be helping. Actually, you don't go here, you are over here somewhere. Arse. I knew I got something wrong. It's out here. Yeah, you. There it is. I've seen you. Come back. It's alright. You can go there. You can go there. I just want you to fly into my nice shiny thing. Come on. So I'm sitting still because Mr. Fly was back and I nearly had him. being annoying. I need him to die. Oh, missed him by a centimetre. Two of them. It's two of the little buggers. I'm not having none of it. Right, let's get on with stuff, otherwise I'll be here all night. With any luck, they'll kill themselves on the thing. Doesn't help that it was very successful last night because of course I turned off all the lights, so the lights on the zapper were kind of the main core lights on, so of course they all flew to it, which I will do after I finish streaming, obviously. There you go, first tangle. Let's try and do that. Oh, fly, will you get off me? getting quick at measuring the meters, that's for sure. This fly, I swear they've got a real thing for my left armpit, but they come at it from behind so you can't see them, but you feel them. I know I'm sweating, but I can't do much about that. I mean, it's 5 million degrees, you know? So unless someone turns down the weather, you know, I can't change that. Because it is too hot. Stop touching me. May not seem much, but you know, we're definitely getting somewhere, slowly. Well, we've already got through 64 metres of thread winding those bobbins, at least, right? Bear in mind I'm being marginally generous, right? Now you can see why a 500 metre spool doesn't actually go very far. We've done 8 pairs of bobbins. That doesn't sound right, but there you go. 8 fours, 64. So basically it's over a spool of thread per curtain. Now, to be fair, the thread costs, I think it's £9, so it's £9 a curtain. That's pretty cheap, but obviously you've got to spend 300 million years making it. just because. Don't want to leave it to chances, you know. Just do a few more. I'm not sure I got that right, you know. Gonna unwind it because my brain says I didn't count it. I mean, if this isn't pure ADHD, I don't know what it is. Because, you know, there's me. All I've got to do is count to fucking 28 or 27. Yeah, 28. That's what we agreed on. You know. Brain the size of a peanut. One of the guys at work keeps calling me Einstein because he thinks I'm really clever. No, I have more, just more. I on a good moment, yeah, I can be a genius. On a bad moment, I can be dumber than a box of rocks. So, you know, and what you get is not always guaranteed, you know. It's a bit long. 3. See, I'm still not convinced. That was 2, wasn't it? Yeah, that's only 2. There's no way that's 3. So find out. Let's call this 3. Do another one, and if it takes way too much more to load it on, we know we had extra. Better to have extra than not enough. No, I was right. I'd only counted 2. But see, this one, we haven't even done anything, and it's already getting loose at the bottom. And I know it's partly how I'm winding it, because obviously some are better than others. Doesn't stop it being annoying though, does it? Twisted. It's really hard when you tape measure twists, so you can't measure against it easily. 1, 2. First one's was harder because I can't move my left hand away at the same time. 3. 4. That'll definitely wind with. Oh, big tangle now. I haven't had this for ages. What happened to this girl? There we go. I remember there being some weird rumours about her being paid for to become famous by somebody, but I don't really remember who. See again, look. Your beads are out of focus. What? In English, please? What beads? Oh, what, on the bottom of the things? I don't know. Should be autofocus. I don't know. Fucking camera. Hang on. Better? Well, it's auto-focusing, so... I mean, it's on a 2-inch screen on my screen, so I don't know. I can't even see it. It's not in focus. Hang on. They look fairly in focus to me. These bits never look in focus because it's a ring light. So if I turn the light off, now you don't get the kind of hoop on the bobbins. They look more focused even though it hasn't changed. So the tops always look out of focus, I know that. Well, it's supposed to focus on the centre, which is of course here, so... But I mean, part of the reason I didn't have it autofocus was because every time my hand comes in, all you can hear is as it's moving around, and well, you don't need to see my hand. I mean, try to make the earpiece is too tight. There we go. But it's been a good half an hour and you're only just telling me the bobbins are out of focus. But this is annoying me, the fact that the thread at the bottom is coming loose for no reason. I know, but you're not the only one here, remember? And I'm out of drink. I did twist these at the beginning, didn't I? Yes. That's alright. I'm sweating like a horse. Swipe these across. Yeah, it's kind of what it went a bit like that here a minute ago, but it's kind of clearing up again now. It's a bit annoying. Because I really hoped for a good, you know, crash, bang, wallop, Armageddon job. That'd have been nice. And it had gone kind of really dark greyish in places, so, you know, I had a reasonable hope, but it lied, so... 1, 2, 3, 4. I can almost smell hot things. You know how like you can smell, it's like when the road is hot you can smell it. I can almost smell hot things. It is ridiculously warm here. How are you doing? You're doing pretty well. My hospitalised is now better. I mean, it's supposed to take 48 hours, up to 48 hours to dry, but in this heat you'd think it'd be like 10 seconds. Or burst into flames. I know it's only 5 o'clock, but I am wondering. Well, it's 27.5 degrees in this room. And apparently it's 30 outside, so yeah, fuck this shit. That's how today goes. It's just too hot. Yeah, I'd fucking give my armpits for that right now. I mean, this looks like it's supposed to be the peak for today about now. Yeah, it kind of shows now as my peak at 30, but yeah, that kind of does rub it in a little bit. See, for example, if I shrink a few things, right? If I do this, this is the picture of the world, give or take a little bit, and this is at 8 o'clock, well, 6 o'clock tonight. So this is well, it's in an hour's time, so it says it's going to have dropped a couple of degrees. If you look from here, you can see that I'm at the top of this kind of warmer patch. Naughty Kelt's somewhere over here, right? So, you know, he's got cooler shit. His is green. Mine is borderline orange. You know, it's somewhat sweaty-ville here. It is distinctly unpleasant. But it is annoying that you can't... Oh, I can go back. So if I go to now... So, for example, if I go back a bit, you can see the hot bit there, although it still says 28. But that's, you know, even though I can tell you, on the dial it says, you know, if we kind of... So this is like 9 o'clock this morning. You can see as it gets over the day, it's, you know, it's been really hot and it's allegedly cooling down now. But as you can see, I mean... Nah, Naughty Kelt tomorrow. Nah, sorry. And then it cools down and Naughty Kelt's going to get warmer. Yeah, I did. I'm just looking through the next week or so to see if there's any imposing death. Because this time next week, I'll be heading for my week off. Oh, well, I will be on my week off, more accurately. You stay at 11 degrees for a week, please. After this, I would be happy. Okay, so it's definitely not much cooler for the bank holiday weekend. Not going to argue that that's a problem. 19, 20 is fine. 20 is fine. We can deal with 20. 20's good. 20's fine. I mean, it's warm, but it's not roasting. Oh, fuck off. Ah, piss off. Oh, that's right. For one horrible one, I thought that wasn't the week after. No. Thankfully, that's the week just gone. So, let's not be, you know. Are we going to get any rain? Can you speed up the thing? Short answer is no. Well, that just sucks. How can we not be getting any rain? It's England, it's supposed to rain. There you go. Naughty Kelt's going to get warmer over the weekend, so we can all point and laugh. Naughty Kelt, you're going to kind of match my temperature a bit over the weekend. So I expect to hear you moaning as well, so that's fine. Because it is just too friggin' hot. While my sanity is still with me, I am going to call it a day for today. I might load a couple of bobbins off stream. I might not. We'll see how enthusiasm strikes me. But we will be back tomorrow evening. So that's in 30 hours time ish, give or take a little bit. Where we will continue the bobbining and the winding. But this is a strip, dudes. We have started strip. And because none of you have played with the camera, you miserable toads. So let's zoom in and go up and across. There we go. She says checking quickly that she didn't fuck up because, you know, it's looking like she did, but she didn't. Yeah, it's alright. It's just the angle of a pin or two. But we have started a corner of the new strippening. So, yeah. probably should have twisted them. Looking here, I probably should have twisted them. But it was scrunched down to nothing, so it doesn't really matter. And yes, I know my table wobbles a lot. Seriously, let me do this for you. You can go, you can watch the commands, and I will never show you again because I've had a week with. Right, Naughty Cal, you missed me explaining earlier that I was trying to someone was trying to do their job, failing, and they could not remember the letters APP, as in app, for 10 seconds. And I had that for 4 hours. That's it. I'm out of people for the next month and a half. So you can go zoom 400. So zooms in, right? Then you can go down 100. And that didn't go down very much. Can we go down again? Oh, it's going down 100 at a time. So down, can we go 500? There you go. Down 400. No. Oh, it's down. That's fine. Hang on. Down 800. I need more than that. Down. I don't know if it goes much further down, to be honest, but down. No, it doesn't go down any further. So that's as far as it goes. But there is your bead at the bottom, the beady beads at the bottom, and they are in focus. They just don't look it because they're shiny. There you go. Oops, can't type, zoom. By the way, 113 is where it normally lives. There you go. Just throw numbers at it and see what happens, right? I think there's also a reset command as well. Can't remember, hang on. Let's do something, I know. Zoom 400 and, oh no, down 1000, right? And then I think it's reset. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just to keep them safe. In case dogs do dog things and whack the pillow or something. But there you go. We are done for the day, I think. It's time for some food and sleep and finding those fucking flies and I've got Sunday. I've got to tidy up a bit because my neighbours have booked kindly trips to the tips, so I've got to have done my bit before then, so I need to do some of that tomorrow and Sunday morning. And it might mean the stream's a little late on Sunday because it kind of amounts to a similar time frame at the start. But I will be on Sunday. But obviously I don't want to kind of go, here's a load of my shit and run away. I'm streaming now, bye, to my neighbours because they are being really nice. So I need to bag up some crap and mainly going to do the cardboard, to be honest. I know it sounds really weird, but the cardboard in the hall, I know it shouldn't be the one that I do the most, but if I do that, it kind of then makes it only one room, which makes it feel smaller, and the one in the hall is technically easier to do. So, because there's actually not that much of it. Well, there is, but there isn't. It's just a bunch of cardboard boxes under the stairs. And I went through and took out a load of the foamy stuff and shoved it in their skip. So most of it is attacking it with my... Where the fuck did I put that? Seriously, I must have ADHD. My cardboard cutter. Where the hell is that? Please don't tell me I threw it in the skip. I've got an electric cardboard cutter to try and help me tackle these things. Because, you know, slicing up cardboard, I'm more likely to slice the dog and me and all the rest of it. So I got a cardboard cutter, and it was on the stairs, and I don't remember what I did with it, because it's not on the stairs, because I didn't leave it on the stairs. I put it somewhere, but I don't remember where I put it. So now I'm going to worry about where I've put that till I find it. And then I'll have forgotten, and then can't remember why I'm looking for it. I just hate the fact that you've got to book it these days. You can't just turn up. Because, of course, yeah, I'm really up for the idea of doing it for Sunday. But who says on Sunday I'm going to wake up and be in the mood? You know? It just seems stupid you've got to book it. Anyway, I shall see you all tomorrow night, laters and all that, where we will keep going. Take care, everybody. Have fun. And try not to die in the really hot weather if you are joining me in sweating like a horse. Bye-bye.